finally back. And I know it's been a long time, and I haven't uploaded anything in at least a month. And I know I shouldn't have been doing that, but I've been busy with school and everything. And I know that's everybody's excuse, but anyways, I was away for school. That's why I didn't upload anything for a while. But I'm finally on summer break, and I'll be happy to make mini tutorials for you guys. And if you guys need any more tutorials, try to give me suggestions down in the comments below. And I usually read every single comment, so just tell me what you'd like and I'll try to do it for you. Okay, but today's tutorial is on the basics. Get into the basics of animation in After Effects. And mostly After Effects is dealing with animation. And that's basically whether it's using it with presets or using your own effects or anything like that. That's basically using animations in After Effects. Not everything's used as animation, but that's what After Effects uses as a compositor software. And yeah, so I'll basically begin by saying if you are a beginner, I'd recommend watching this. If you are whatever kind of skill you'd call yourself, I'd still recommend watching this video because every little thing that is taught, you guys should learn with whatever I teach you guys. It's very helpful. So let me begin by saying you have been challenged. Now try to follow up how I try to understand what I'm saying here. So anyways, let's just start off with a new composition. And we'll keep the same settings there. So right now we just got a blank composition, and let me just throw in a new layer, solid. Make size, and let's make it black. And there we go. So right now we got a nice black solid, and that's like where our work is going to be done. So right here is our slider where most of the animation you'll be seeing happening will be here, and you can edit the timing of the animation and everything like that. So let's just begin here. Let's see what I could try to do. Could add effects, but I'm gonna try showing you guys another basic. Let me see here. Let's create another solid. Make size. I should have used a different color. Okay. Let's try red. Now if we were to shrink this down to size here, you can see that it's just a box, right? So if you just hit P on your keyboard, it'll bring up the position on the red solid that we have here. But if you select this other rectangle or square, you click on the solid, you'll bring that position up. And the position is basically the position where it's at. As you can tell, all the data and information is moving as you move it along because it's telling you where exactly the red solid is at. And yeah, so that's basically one of the transform options. And if you just hit the little arrow here, you can open this up and it says transform. Usually it'll be closed. Just open that up and then you can see a whole bunch of other transforming options. You can use the opacity, and the opacity or opacity, however you want to say it, it brings it in and out. That's what like fades in and out different effects of different things that you want to bring in. Like if you want something to come in and fade in instead of just popping in, that's what mostly the opacity is used for. And the rotation. Rotation is obviously just rotating the object. And scaling we got here, just obviously scaling it in. If you bring it down, scales, basically it flips it, but since this object is just the same on either side, it won't change. And position, I already showed you the position. You can move it left to right on the X and Y axis, and this is the axis or whatever. Okay, so right here we also have the anchor point, and you can move that by grabbing this. And you can basically understand what I'm saying here. He uses the anchor point in a position when you're using the anchor point. So what usually you need the key points for this is the little stopwatches right here. And if you were to click one, like let's say the position, and let's say you want the animation to start 5 seconds. So if I right click the stopwatch, you have a little diamond right here, right? So you just drag it to where you want it to start, right where the little timeline cursor is at. That's where you want to line up the diamond with the timeline, and then the animation won't start until it passes the. If I click play here on with my spacebar, you'll see it. It'll go through, and then once it starts to pass the center position of the diamond, the animation will start going until you end it with another keyframe, and that's what these little diamonds are called. They're called keyframes, and that's basically what you gotta know about what they do. So let's say you want this to move over here. Let's say to this corner. So what you're gonna have to do, you gotta drag where you want the animation to end. And so after that, you just immediately either drag it or you can drag the slider this way. But I don't want to move it there, so I'll just leave it there. So now, as you can tell, if you followed what I said, you can see the position of the red solid is moving down slowly. Now, that's cool, but it's not as fast as maybe you wanted it to be. So if you bring it closer, you can tell it got there way faster. So if we just speed it up, you can tell it went a little faster, but let's say we want it even faster. So basically, you guys should get the idea. It speeds up every time you bring it closer, and it slows it down as you drag it out longer. So that's basically the keyframes, the basics. So let me go on through the other options, such as scaling, rotation, and opacity. You can scale like the same way. So let's say you'd want it to scale as it's moving. You can do that at the same time. As something is going, you can also drop another keyframe by clicking the stopwatch and doing the same thing that I told you guys about the first time with the position. So if we play it back, you can see as it is sliding down, it also grows out, and it'll continue and it'll stop right about there, but the position is still moving. So it's a pretty cool effect what the keyframes can actually accomplish. So you can also overlay different keyframes with other keyframes, such as right here. Let's say we want another position action to happen right about here. We want it to bend out. As you can tell, this little curve came into the keyframe line. It's this little curve, and basically that's because we added another keyframe. That's when you want to add a little curve like that. So maybe you want your red solid to move around like that, and then come in as a little bit bigger. Wait, let me shut off this one for a minute. And then you can tell that it reaches its point right here for the anchor point, and then it stops. So yeah, you can add as many keyframes as you want to make your animation as perfect as you want it. And so you can add another one, let's say, I don't know, something like that. And you can really achieve some really cool stuff with that. And same thing as before, if you bring them all closer together, they will go, the timing of the animation will speed up. As you can tell, it goes up and down. So the keyframes are easy to deal with, but when you get into harder stuff like with a whole bunch of other layers, it does get a little difficult. So alright, so the keyframing within the animation that's happening as you're watching right now, it basically shows what's going on at what time. So you can even check over here where your time is at. And as you can tell, at let's see here, at 4:23, the first keyframe is set off, and then the second one comes about right here at 5:17, and then this one's 6:14, and it keeps on going on and on. So that's how you know where everything is. And if you'd like, you could change the mode to either, you can use time, or you could use seconds, or you could use like frames. So all you do is click Command on your keyboard or Control for APC and click it, and it changes to frames, and then back to time, time. I usually use time, but whenever I'm using something more difficult, I switch to frames. Okay, so as you can tell, we just got done with that. And if we were to add, let's say, a opacity, and then bring it down, how about we bring it here, 27. So if we were to see it, watch it go, it goes up. I dropped the opacity down, like I did with it's the same thing with the positioning, but the animation is totally different. So basically, I hope you guys learned something really productive today, and yeah, so I'll be uploading more often. Hopefully I'll have a schedule, and I'll try to upload, and I'll tell you next video if I do. And just so you guys can be notified, subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.